Hey, thank you so much, Jamie, and thank you to everyone for attending our last meeting of the year. Can you believe it? It went by so fast. And here we are all by Zoom getting ready for the holidays. So nice time for us to be meeting. It actually feels like it's fall outside, so that's nice. You all know that we're going to be meeting alternately between virtual and personal. We certainly like the personal meetings better because we're all together and we get to socialize and see each other. But the virtual meetings provide us a way of making sure that, first of all, we're complying with our duties under our contracts, but also to make sure that we can share ideas in a meaningful way without having to impose the obligations of traveling so far upon everybody. So thank you all very much for participating today and being such an important part of this important work. So our primary focus today is going to be acknowledging our incoming and outgoing commissioners, our committee and collaborative council members. And that, of course, is a very, very important thing because everybody in this room is so important to the important work of this commission. Just a few housekeeping matters. First of all, let me say that I am so sorry that the deputy chair, my wonderful colleague, Justice Rebecca Huddle, is not able to join us today because she is doing the important work of investigating colleges for her daughter, who is now looking at where she wants to pursue her higher education. So needless to say, for those of us who do this important work of taking care of kids, understand what Justice Huddle is doing. But certainly her presence is missed. As you all know, she's such a delightful person. She's hardworking, she's diligent, she's brilliant, and she's nice, and all of those things are so important. I'm just so thrilled that she's a colleague of mine, and I know you all are glad to know her as well. So this meeting is being recorded. It's being streamed via YouTube. While the meeting is in progress, please check to make sure you're on mute unless you're talking, because it will interfere with some of the ability for us to, hear everybody as well as we need to. We're not going to be taking any breaks today. We're going to try to get through this in 2 hours. But of course, if you need to step away, please feel free to do so and turn off your camera function and then try to get back when you can, because we want you to contribute and hear your important thoughts. So we would like for you to come back as soon as you can. The meeting notebook, as you all know, was shared last week by email. It's also available on our commission website. Please note that since, as you all know, we met so recently, just on September 13th, there are no updates to the Children's Commission or our financial report. We are going to have some good news that Jamie's going to share with us in a little bit. But other than that, we haven't had any major changes. And again, thank you so much for making this as seamless as possible. So let's get to the business of looking at our minutes and adopting them from the September 13th meeting. They were distributed behind tab 2, which is page 13 in the PDF, in advance of the meeting. I know that everyone has had the opportunity to review the minutes, and so now we will vote on that. Are there any corrections? Seeing none, if there are any, please correct me. I don't see that there are any. So is there a motion to adopt the minutes from the September 13th meeting?
I move.
Okay, that has been moved. All in favor?
I'll second Justice Loomer.
Okay, I don't think we need a second, but that's fine. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Did I hear someone want to say something? No? Okay. Okay, they are adopted. Thank you all very much. So now then, this important, exciting work, talking about our incoming commission members. So please look at tab 1, that's page 9 in the PDF. So this includes all our membership, including the commission, the committee, and the collaborative council and staff. So we have several changes. Always the saddest is the ones that are outgoing because we hate to lose anyone on the commission. It's always such a joy to get to know everybody and work with you all so closely. We have Tribal Judge Isaac Roldan. She has rolled off the commission and so thankful for that important input she has provided. This is also our last meeting with State Representative Stephanie Click. She has been our ex officio member since 2019, and we want to thank her for her many, many years of service. So thanks to both of these wonderful people. Clap, 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 clap. So now our new members. So we have 4 new commissioners who are each starting a 3-year term. And we have been very careful on the executive committee to try to bring people who have a unique perspective to our commission and a wealth of knowledge. And all of these 4 meet that criteria. I have the great joy of knowing these people, and they all are indeed wonderful, wonderful contributors. We have the Honorable Angela Graves Harrington, who is the judge of the 246 Family District Court in Harris County. And why don't you raise your hand, Judge? And we're going to have you say a few words in just a moment. The Honorable Aurora Martinez Jones. Where's Aurora? I see her. She here?
Yes, she's here.
Okay, good. And she is judge of the 326 District Court, and I have had the privilege of knowing her for quite some time. She does a wonderful job in Austin. The Honorable James Mosley of the 316th District Court in Hutchinson County in the Panhandle. Judge Mosley, there he is. Welcome aboard. And Michelle Thomas Janis, who is the program manager for the Alabama Coushatta Department of Social Services. We're so fortunate to have each of you, and we're so thankful that you're willing to share your expertise and your knowledge and your concern for these wonderful families with all of us. So I would like to start with Judge Graves Harrington and ask you about what perspective and experience do you think you can bring to the commission?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Justice Lehrman, and thank you to the Children's Commission for this awesome opportunity. I bring a perspective as a judge who not only hears child welfare cases, but also family cases. And my focus has been on prevention. And in many of the family cases, I've noticed these opportunities to prevent things from going forward and children ending up in the child welfare system by taking action and steps and implementing some steps for the families to take. And so what I've noticed is this intersection between family law, private cases, and child welfare cases is becoming a lot more prevalent. And so that is the perspective that I can bring. I am board certified in family law, so I know a lot about family law as well as child welfare law, and that intersection is so important and I think sometimes overlooked. And so I want to make sure that I continue to kind of highlight the importance of my private bar understanding child welfare law and understanding and seeing the red flags. And that's what I'm really focused on, the prevention aspect.
Thank you so much, Judge. That's wonderful. Very much appreciate that. Okay, Judge Ferguson, judge of the 394th District Court.
Yes, ma'am. You were asking us what we value the most, as I recall, and it's such a wonderful and uplifting group to be on because every time we come together, we are rejuvenated by the dedication and the commitment of all the volunteers in the room. They're from all over the state, and they just come together with this outpouring of love and energy and passion to protect children. And so just being a part of that and being involved in the creativity is incredibly uplifting and rejuvenating for me. So I'm grateful to you for everything you do for leading us, and of course Jamie and Milbury for running the show the way that y'all do. It's incredible. So thank you, Justice Lehrman, for that.
Thank you, Judge Ferguson. I actually jumped ahead a bit. You have been with us for a while, and I was introducing the new members, so I'm sorry I put you on the spot there, but you did a great job. Okay, Judge Martinez Jones, what perspectives are you going to bring forth?
Thank you, Justice Lehrman. Thank you for having me on the commission. I'm very excited to be in this role. I've enjoyed my partnership with the Children's Commission in the past on different projects and work that has been done. I'm very excited to bring my perspective. Presiding in Travis County in our centralized docket system, we do have just one judge who is overseeing the administration and management of all of our child welfare cases, and that's me. And so that gives me a unique perspective to look at such a big community and see what's going on across the entire community and be able to impact change in that way. We are a model court, and I do close work with the National Council of Juvenile Family Court Judges on the board with them. And so I think I'm able to bring some national perspectives that I've seen happening in other states and things, innovations that other judges are doing. And I also am very excited about the work that I do for dual status youth. The intersection of the juvenile justice system with the child welfare system is one that's very near and dear to my heart, and I think is still a little bit of the Wild West as far as case law goes and making sure that we are doing the best for children and families. So I think there's a lot of work to be done there, and I'm excited to help in that. And then, of course, I'm very, very proud and excited to bring my experience presiding on a family drug treatment court. We have recently been recognized again as a peer learning court. And so we've been doing a lot of work to be mentor and really make sure we're looking at best practice standards and adhering to all of that and really bringing a preservation model to a family treatment court. And so I hope to bring all of that to the commission and the work that I'm able to do with you all. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Judge. That's so important. And boy, you know, the drug treatment courts are just really phenomenal. And as we all know, so many of these unfortunate families, that's what haunts them. And it's so difficult to get over that. So thank you so much for your perspectives and what you bring. And Judge James Mosley from the Panhandle. Judge Mosley?
Yes, thanks, Justice Lehrman. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm James Mosley from the 316th District Court in Stinnett, Texas. So we're about 60 miles north of Amarillo in the Panhandle. As I told Jamie Bernstein, some people don't know this, but we're closer to 5 state capitals other than our own. So we're up here in the middle of nowhere sometimes. So my perspective, I think, is just to hopefully just so you don't forget that we exist up here in the rural part of the Panhandle, and that our needs up here are somewhat unique, and our ability to get to services is difficult for our people. I handle all the juvenile cases in our county, all the CPS cases in our county, all the attorney general cases in our county. I handle about half of our felony criminal law. I handle all the family law, and then I do our drug court as well, our criminal drug court. And a lot of the people that we service are in every one of those courts in some aspect. And so I see them there, and I see them at Walmart, and I see them all over the place, and I see the good stories when I see families that we've reunited in these cases, and I'm able to see those kids grow up in the families that they deserve to grow up in. I see them at Walmart all the time, and they'll sometimes even come up to you and say, "Hey, we're doing well." And then unfortunately, I see the other ones too that we unfortunately have to terminate and see their lives as well. So I'm on the ground here. I see these people all the time in our little rural counties. They know me. I know them. And so I take it a little bit personally when I have to terminate somebody's parental rights. It hurts, and when I get to put families back together, it feels good. And so I come from that perspective, and I just hope I can learn a lot about resources that perhaps that we can use that we're not using, and also just to be able to give our voice out of the Panhandle. So thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you, Judge, very much. That is such an important perspective. When you first started talking, I was thinking of Judge Ferguson because he's also kind of out in the boonies, and we need that perspective too. I think y'all's is a little bit different because his is so vast. He probably never sees anybody again. I don't know. He covers a lot of territory. I'll say that, which is very different than you, Judge Mosley. Which that is so. A very interesting point and perspective that you bring forth because it is, at least I've always been in major urban areas. And so it's very unusual for me to see any person. I used to be a trial judge hearing these kind of cases. That's why I haven't done that in 15 years, but I did. And it was very unusual for me to see people that recognize me or that I recognize. So that is a unique perspective that you need to make sure that we always think about, because I think a lot of us are from the more populated areas are not just populated, but so populated that you really don't know each other. So thank you very much for that. Welcome aboard. And Michelle Thomas Janis.
Chikma, Tahotipia, Michelle Thompson Janice, and
Okay.
I represent the Alabama Coshada tribe here in East Texas. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really, really excited to get to know each and every one of you and work with you all. You asked what my perspective was and what I hope to bring. And I think my perspective is of course rooted in culturally informed community-centered social work practice. I've been a social worker for 20 years, 10 working in the public sector and 10 working with my tribe. And so I have a deep understanding of what it means working specifically with Indigenous communities and specifically with my tribe. Not only am I the director for the social services program here, I'm also the senior peacemaker for our peacemaking courts. And I also I wear a lot of hats, so it kind of seems crazy, but I'm also the probation officer here. So it's just, I do everything. And I'll have to cut out here in a little bit because I'm in the doctorate program and we're getting ready to start studying for our finals, and I need to get on that class. So, but what I hope to contribute to this commission, or what I hope to bring is more cultural awareness and advocacy for Indigenous communities, as well as especially my tribe, but for all tribes in Texas, to support culturally informed training and education to those that are lacking it or need it. I actually am starting a consulting firm specifically for that, because being in the doctorate program, we've noticed that there is a lack of cultural awareness trainings here in Texas that probably, absolutely needs to be looked into. And I think, the most important part is just collaboration. I want to know what I can do to work with each and every one of you, to work with whoever I need to establish a good relationship, and to see what we can do to help each other and to also help my tribe. So thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. That's such an important thing to bring. We certainly always want to have the perspective from the Native American community. So thank you very much. We appreciate it very much. Okay, so thank you all for agreeing to help us with this important work. We all are very, very excited about you joining us, and we look forward to meeting you at our next meeting in person. So thank you all very much. Okay, so the following commissioners have signed up for a second term. We have Carla Baker, the Parent Representative. You've already heard from the wonderful Honorable Roy Ferguson of the 394th. We have Anne, and I just don't want to butcher her last name for the third time in a row, from Casey Family Programs. I'll let you introduce yourself in a moment.
Sure,
Uh,
you can't be fussy with my name, Justice. It's highlighted in stone, but thank you.
Teresa Stevenson from the Reese Jones Foundation and the Honorable Thomas Stuckey of the Syntex Child Protection Corps South. We will also have the following members who will continue to serve in a new capacity. Sasha Roscoe, now with Health and Human Services Commission, and Luann Southern, now with the Department of Family and Protective Services. So now, let's let each of you tell us about what you value, having been with us for a while, about the commission. Ms. Baker.
Good morning. What I value most about the commission is I get to see the paradigm shift trickle down, right? On the commission, we implement things that are changing that conversation between the department, the courts, and families. And I see that at the state level, right? And then when I'm out and about or running the meetings that I do for the parent collaboration group, I'm actually seeing that paradigm shift at the local level. So I know that the work we're doing, it's working, right? The conversations we're having, the meetings, the data pulling, everything is working. And I just love to see that.
Thank you so much. Judge Ferguson, you want to add something to your prior comment?
Unless the court has any questions, I'll stand on my prior presentation and yield the balance of my time.
That's good. Ms. Helingenstein.
Thank you, Justice Lehrman. You know, I have two perspectives. One is when I was commissioner of DFPS, and at that time, your predecessor, Justice Harriet O'Neill, worked with the court to establish the commission. And it was such an honor and a privilege, as it is today, to serve. You know, as commissioner, it gave me the opportunity to be able to reach out to you all. I knew there were problems. I knew there were issues. I knew there were things that the agency needed to address with the court. But to do that judge by judge by judge was so difficult, as you can imagine, given our geographic spread. And what the commission became was such a vital communication tool so that the agency and the judiciary could communicate. It was such a godsend for me, truly, in trying to manage the agency at that time. My second perspective, Justice Lehrman, is with Casey. And with Casey, I have the advantage of a panoramic view of what's happening across the country. I am going to tell you, and I truly mean this commission is the standard bearer for how this kind of work should be done. Just yesterday, I was in Kansas. I had been invited to testify to a joint committee on child welfare oversight. And I talked to the committee about this commission, about the opportunity to work with judges and how you are so critical in ensuring that there's permanency for children. And they were pretty impressed. I think we're going to be hearing, I think Jamie's going to be hearing from Kansas pretty soon. Jamie probably already mentioned to you maybe, but a couple of weeks ago, we hosted Judge Robert Minor from Alabama. He came because he wants to learn more about what Texas is doing, the agency in terms of narrowing the front door, and the courts in terms of judicial leadership. I have to tell you, Judge Minor was really impressed. He was wowed. We were going to meet for 3 hours, and really by the time the day was over, I had spent 5 hours with Justice Minor. He was just truly abuzz and went home to Alabama, wanting to work with the new Chief Justice there to create a like vehicle in Alabama. So my apologies probably for talking too long, but it has truly been such a privilege to be able to serve in this capacity. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And yeah, that is so important. I do remember when Justice O'Neill was first starting this after, you know, we had some pretty big cases, as you all remember, where so many children had to be removed from the compound. And it was pretty devastating for the court. And so that really is what was the impetus for our creating this commission. And I think it has gone probably, you know, leaps and bounds beyond our greatest expectations. And I agree that there is that need, you know, to have a commission like this that kind of brings everything together and not just, you know, throw stones and cast blame, which tends to happen a lot, and really try to understand each other and work together for the benefit of the children. So thank you for bringing all that to light.
It's been invaluable, and I have to thank Jamie, who planned and hosted the visit from Judge Minor. Like I said, I know Jamie's probably getting lots of follow-up questions on how to help, as well as Jennifer Sims from DFPS. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Stevenson.
Good morning. Well, just in hearing some of the comments so far, it just affirms my belief and feeling that there are so many amazing, passionate people working on behalf of very vulnerable kids. And so I just am so thankful to just be among so many wonderful people. And I think that it's, as we see it, I work for a foundation. If you don't know, I represent funders who are very interested also in the welfare of children, and to sort of see this connected body, and that body has to be really healthy all the way down from the clinicians and program staff that actually touch very tangibly the life of kids, you know, all the way up through the sort of stakeholder realm, and to you, to this court who just holds the banner high of making great decisions for kids. I just, it's been very affirming to me to see the common intellect and passion to just work together in a unified way. So one thing I will just affirm is that there is a growing number of donors, foundations, other types of funders who, you know, the interest is growing in this space. And that's a really good thing, because I think originally when I first started almost 20 years ago, I felt like our foundation was kind of a little bit of a loner with the Meadows Foundation and some others in the state. And so I just want to let you know that what we're trying to do, and what I think is important about hearing the voices on the commission, is understand, you know, how we can help fill gaps, help with innovation, fund innovation as needed, and just really understand sort of the challenges that exist, and how putting resources in certain places can be the most beneficial. So anyway, I've rambled a bit, but I just thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We really do appreciate your perspective, and thank you so much for contributing in such a meaningful way. It's wonderful. Okay, Judge Stuckey.
Well, good morning. Thank you. I'm excited to start my second term on the commission. I think one of the things that's exciting to me is to always learn about new ideas from people from all over the state that are experts in their areas and their perspective, and be able to take those back to my home jurisdiction to help families. And then another thing I've had an opportunity to do, and I'm look forward to doing it some more in the future, is the opportunity to actually work with the other people on the commission and all the people on all of our committees to, you know, generate new ideas, things that we haven't thought of before, you know, work together. And every time I, you know, take part in a committee meeting, I learn a new perspective or something that I hadn't thought about before. And I think that's the great thing about the commission, is bringing together all these perspectives to find solutions that work, you know, not only from a global perspective statewide, but, you know, helping people also in their local jurisdictions.
Thank you so much, Judge Stuckey. Really appreciate it. It's been a joy getting to know you and work with you over the last while. So thank you so much. Ms. Rasco.
I don't believe that Sasha
she's not here.
or Luann Southern are with us at this time. They might be
Okay.
later.
Okay. Well, thank you all very much for all those wonderful comments. So we have a new standing appointment. So we recognize that we need consistent input from the regional presiding judges. So we have created a standing appointment related to that. As you all know, these judges have great insight about administration and other concerns. So this really gives us a critical perspective on a continuing basis. And so we're very grateful for the Honorable Susan Brown, presiding judge of the 11th Administrative Regional Region, to continue to serve on the commission, however, now to fill the standing position at this time. So thank you also. Judge Brown, are you here?
I don't believe she's with us.
Oh, okay. So I look forward to the year ahead. I know we're all going to make great progress and work together to address some of these very critical problems that are addressing, or that these children and families are facing. So we had a few committee member changes that I would like to mention. And these are to the committee and collaborative council membership. So Anna Saldana Ford of Belong SJRC Texas joins the Systems Improvement Committee. Marcus Crosby of OCA, Office of Court Administration. Cindy Dyer of the Texas Legal Services Center. Holly Pickett from the department, and Kenneth Thompson, also from the department, joined the Legal Practice and Process Committee. Carla Baker, Sarah Bryant, Judge Delia Gonzalez, and Charlotte Velasco will roll off the Legal Practice and Process Committee. Teal De La Garza and Justice Robbie Partita Kipnis will roll off the Training Committee. And Judge Michael Schneider, who is now retired, will roll off the Data Committee. With regard to collaborative council member changes, we have new members as follows. Aaron Argue from Hart Galleries of Texas. Christine Blackstone from Texas Alliance of Child and Family Services. Dr. Monica Faulkner, Texas Institute of Child and Family Wellbeing. Holly Mims of the Office of Community-Based Care. Kelly Pittman from the Texas Foster Family Association. Susan Ramirez from National Angels. Amanda Vasquez from the Office of the Attorney General Child Support Division. And rolling off the Collaborative Council are Irene Clements, Dr. Linda Garcia, Teal De La Garza, Will Francis, Sandra Hashem, Felix Herrera, Tina Hosaka, Daniela Schaefer, and Ruth Ann Thornton. So let's all thank these wonderful people for their many contributions. Appreciate that. Okay, so now is Megan Lavoie with us today? Is she?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Hi, Megan.
Hi, Judge.
I have the honor of working with Megan quite closely. She wears a lot of different hats and does a lot of things for the court, as you all know, is the head of the Office of Court Administration, one of the largest such administrations in the country, because Texas is not a small state, as we all know. So thank you for your work, Megan, and I invite you to please provide an update on the Children's Commission, one of the small slices of the big pie that you do.
Well, thank you so much, Justice Learman. I just have a brief update. I was going to start with some data highlights. We just wrapped up fiscal year 24, and our family clearance rate overall at the district level is 102%, which is great. That's up from 99% last year. It was also 102% at the county level. Our CPS clearance rate for fiscal year 24 was 95% at the district level and 103% at the county level.
How do things get over 100%?
They're clearing the backlog.
Okay.
So they're clearing more cases than are being filed.
Okay.
The active pending CPS cases also continues to trend down. It's down 11% from fiscal year 23 at the district level and down 17% at the county level. So for fiscal year 24, the active pending caseload was about 13,600 at the district level and about 2,800 at the county level. A couple of updates just on projects that OCA is working on. I think I've talked to the commission several times about our text reminder program. We signed a contract in July and we have our first county on board. It's Tarrant County, and we are using eCourt Date, which is an up-and-coming text reminder system that a lot of states are and a lot of courts are using across the country. We have 25 counties on board ready to get on the system. Originally, it was just planned for criminal cases, but we have opened it up to all case types. So if you know of a county or court that wants to get on to the text reminder system, it is free. All you have to do is reach out to OCA and we can get you in the queue. I also want to talk briefly about some of the data that we're collecting. House Bill 2384 was a bill that was passed last session and requires OCA to collect data at the court level of clearance rate, the age of the active pending caseload, and also the age of the cases disposed. Those reports were due November 1st, and so we're combing through those. We actually have a really good compliance rate. We're still working with some counties to get those reports in. We are meeting with all the regional presiding judges to go over that data in the middle of December. And we hope to have all of those reports online by the end of December and eventually to put that data in a dashboard format so it's easily searchable for the public and policymakers and members of the judiciary. We're also working on transitioning to case level data. We did sign a contract for a new case level data system in August. We are going to start with a collection of criminal case level data, and we're hoping to have probably by the summer of 2025 some data to report at the criminal level. I wanted to make a pitch for our standardized protective order forms. That was a project that we completed this summer. All of the forms are online, and we're continuously working with stakeholders on reviewing those and make sure that they're effective. And if any changes need to be made, I know we made a change this fall based on some feedback. So please check those out. We also recently published a study on the efficacy of protective orders that is also published on our website. We are turning to some of our legislative work as the legislature comes back into session in January, and they started pre-filing this week. They've already pre-filed over 1,600 bills. Most of those were on the first day on Tuesday. So that is definitely a record. I think the record previously was just over 900 bills filed on the first day of pre-filing, and so they hit that out of the park this year.
Do you have any idea what percentage of those affect us in this work?
We're still combing through them. We know that we have already received 69 fiscal note requests for OCA, so all of those touch the judiciary. I think we've made our way through about a third of them so far. So hopefully at the next commission meeting, I'll have a better update. But reading through all those and takes a bit of time, especially when they have so many filed on the first day. Another study that I wanted to briefly update that's due January 1st is our workload staffing study. So it's the first of its kind. We have never done a staffing study of how many court staff are needed in our courts across our state. A couple other states across the country have recently done one, but this is the first time Texas has done one. We are working with PPRI, with Texas A&M, to complete the study. It's due January 1st to the legislature, but we're hoping to publish it sometime in December. We had a preview with Texas A&M earlier this week and to review a draft, but it's going to also come with a tool that courts and counties will be able to use to determine how many court staff they need. So we're really excited about that study. We have a lot of reports due in the next 2 months that I want to make you aware of. We have a report on bail, guardianship, our annual report for the judicial branch boards, agencies, and commissions. We have our report due on the business courts, and then also the Judicial Compensation Commission report is due December 1st. So that's kind of my brief update from OCA. A lot of things to wrap up before the end of the year as we get ready for the legislative session. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Megan? Well, thank you so much, Megan. We really do appreciate all your work. I know that you're just, working 20 hours a day. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Justice.
Okay. Do we have people here from the department?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good. So is both Erica Benduelis and Luann Southern here, or Luann's not here, right?
Luann is not with us just yet. I know she had a conflicting meeting, but Audrey O'Neill is also here. But
Okay. So I turn it over. I want you all to know I had the privilege of speaking at the department's annual meeting last month. And it was really, really very, very good. I was glad that I was there. I can tell you, as I always say, I think that the department has an impossible job, but I think they do the very best that can be done with such a difficult situation. Anytime you have a third party that is trying to modify behavior, which is happening, because as we all know, the real problem is these families have such challenges that they are just unable many times to adequately deal with their children. And so I think that we ask the impossible of the department sometime, and they do it with little resources and little pay. So I, for one, want to thank you, as I always do, for the important work, and we look forward to hear your update.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Erica Bañuelos. I am the CPS Associate Commissioner, and thank you for those kind words, Justice. They mean a lot. And we are always happy to have people championing with us the work that we do each and every day. So thank you. Today's briefing that I'm going to do is in regards to our retention of staff, but most importantly, our professional development of staff, which really impacts the courts when workers are working with parents, with foster parents, with kinship caregivers. And so for today, as part of our DFPS annual plan that the commissioner put forward, one of our goals was to support and retain workforce. And one of the sections under that is our professional development. So what we did as an agency in the CPS training department, we really started to take inventory of all the various trainings that we had, and really looked at opportunities where we could enhance the training that we offer. Perhaps there's training that we're not offering. But what was most important about sort of re-looking at what we are giving staff is really incorporating the voices of our most important stakeholders to include people with lived experience, youth that have been in foster care, as well as kinship caregivers who are, who have kids in their homes right now, our parents, as well as some stakeholders in the domestic violence field and other fields. So today I'm going to run through some of those, and I'm happy to provide Jamie a copy of what it is that we are doing. It's a one-pager, and I'm happy to give that to you all so y'all can have that. So one of the first things that we did was we really wanted to incorporate, again, the voice of the parent and ensuring that our trainings reflected that. So last year, we worked on meeting with our parents through our current parent collaboration group that we have. And they were able to give us feedback on some of our training, and also what are some of the most important resources that we could be providing to parents as they navigate our system. And so they came up with some resources and information that staff could have as a way to better support parents through their journey of getting their children back or being committed to them. So we developed a training called Parent Voice in Training. And so that was delivered December of 23rd through August of 2024. And we continue to enhance that training as we continue to go through it. The other thing we did was we worked with our training department to review the curriculum that we currently had. And one of the things that we are looking at doing is 2 trainings for caseworker staff to increase their engagement and partnership with parents. We all know that there's nothing more motivating to a parent than when a worker is able to engage them very quickly and stay connected to them. And really focusing on meaningful contact with parents. And so the first one that we're working on designing is going to really highlight the parent support group that we currently have and is available across the state in many of the counties. As well as the parent collaboration group has put some videos together for us that we can share with staff who are newly coming into our agency, so that they can hear from people with lived experience about how important their role is and how to best engage them. And then we're also developing a separate course from that will really focus on really listening and incorporating the parent's voice into the work that we do, and really valuing the experience of those that have been through the foster care system, whether they're youth, again, kinship, or parents. So we're really excited about that. And we really think that new staff will highly benefit from the onset learning about and hearing from people with lived experience. The other thing that we did back in June of 2024, we collaborated with Casey Family Programs to host with us a family reunification conference. And we actually had a panel of judges that was able to attend that conference and give us some really good perspective from the bench as far as things that they saw. We're working some gaps that we identified, and where were some things that we could be doing differently. So we were honored to have the judges present to us. But at this conference, we also had a panel of caregivers, parents, as well as kinship caregivers come in and really talk to us about the process of reunification, what it looked like for them and for many other parents, and what can we as the department, how can we fill in those gaps to make them more successful in that reunification. It was anytime you get to have a panel of people with lived experience to present to you and your staff, it really is, one, very humbling, and two, it really reminds us firsthand of what we need to be doing. In that reunification conference, we developed some goals with the staff, and we actually developed individual plans at the regional levels that staff are working on to increase our reunification back with the actual parent that we removed from. It's great if we have kinship caregivers and we have other people that are involved with the child, but reunification should be our priority. And so as a result of that conference, we're also putting another reunification conference that we are planning to have at the end of this fiscal year. And we're going to be looking at our data to see if we have increased our reunification rates since we last met. So we're really excited for that. During that conference, they were also able to hear from other states in terms of what they are doing to be so successful with reunification. And so we incorporated some of those ideas as well into some of the planning that we did. The next partnership that we did was with we partnered with the Citizens Review team to really look at our domestic violence trainings and what it is that we were doing. They also put out a report where they had some recommendations for us. And as we met and talked about some of the recommendations that we had, we really looked at developing some other domestic violence training. So as a result of some of the feedback that we got, we did develop a 1.5-day training for supervisors and program directors that will be released in October of 2024. We know that middle management is really, really important to the work that caseworkers are doing and supervisors are doing and how that gets reinforced. And so we definitely wanted them to be a priority in the training. And so the course is really going to explore a lot of the way we're staffing cases with domestic violence and also looking at, are we identifying the right services from, to how are we engaging with them and what does that look like? But again, that middle management is typically involved in some of those high level staffings with some of these cases that have some pretty severe domestic violence. We really thought it was important for them to get trained on this. And then the other thing that we are currently working on, and we hope to release it in January of 2025, is going to be a family engagement and parenting support. And what that will do is we're designing a course for our direct delivery staff to teach effective engagement strategies when working with parents that don't want to engage with us. That is probably the most difficult time that our staff have, is at the beginning when they're just meeting the parent and they're trying to engage them. And as you all know, because you all work with our parents too, it can be a very, not only just stressful, but they're pretty angry with us. And so, working through that anger and really trying to get them to partner with us is really important and crucial to the onset of the case. So we are working on developing that training, and hopefully we'll be able to release it in January of 2025. So as you can see, a lot of these various trainings that we are really working on, either developing or we're currently doing or have done, is heavily focused on direct input from people with lived experience and some of the stakeholders that we work with. And again, we are very hopeful. We know that reunification is the most important thing we can do here. We do really well at finding positive permanency for our kids, but where we don't do so well is in actual reunification back to the parent that we removed from. And we really want to have we want to be laser focused on that. And we are hoping to really see some increase in those reunifications throughout this fiscal year.
Well, thank you very much for that thorough update. Is there anything else?
No, that was all the updates that I wanted to provide today. Thank you. Audrey, not sure if you have anything.
I don't. Thank you so much. I don't know if Luann has joined us, but I do know she was on a call with a stakeholder group and she intends to join us when it's complete.
Well, thank you again. We really appreciate that thorough update and appreciate the work that you do. Thank you very, very much.
Justice Lehrman, am I able to ask a question?
Sure.
I was wondering, Erica, on the training that you were discussing, do you know if it will have like specific training to different areas in Texas? Because we're so different across Texas, and some of those issues with not really wanting to engage are kind of rooted in the specific history or circumstances of each community. And so I was just wondering, is that something that you were anticipating was going to be included with the training, kind of a community by community ability to have some unique training going on there?
Yeah, so you're right. Every, we have a lot, 256 counties maybe across Texas. So yes, the culture is different. The dynamics in every county is different. And so my hope would be is that during the training with the staff, that they're able to really talk about their own community and the way things work there, and its engagement is you're right, it's going to look different depending on where you're at as far as the very specific needs of a family or a parent. And so my hope would be is that through the training and the discussions that they're able to really drill down to some of those very unique things that you see within certain regions or counties.
Okay, wonderful. And I was just also wondering, when we're talking about like the identifying the right services and things like that, were there going to be any components of what would constitute like reasonable efforts or active efforts whenever y'all do this part of the training for staff as well?
That's a really good question, Judge, and I can definitely follow up on that. But I know that our focus is always on trying to make sure that, that we have the right, not just the right services, but the services that are actually, that a parent can really learn from and show some actions behind that. But I can follow up on that, Judge. I don't want to say yes, and that's not exactly what they're focusing on, but if not, I think that that's really good feedback as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Are there any other questions? Okay, well, thank you again very much. We really appreciate that update, Erica.
Justice Lerman, we have a hand up from Carla Baker.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Didn't see it.
So I just wanted to thank you, Erica, for the work that you've done with the Parent Collaboration Group over the past year. We have worked diligently in getting our voices heard and bringing that perspective to the training. I'm excited to see that trickle down to the local level. Judge Martinez-Jones, you asked about how we could change that conversation at the local level, right? And how we can meet the diversity across our state. The Parent Collaboration Group has a parent in almost every region of the state that is the parent voice at the local level. That's a great partnership where we can step in and work with the department and actually go to trainings and have that conversation with those caseworkers.
Thank you. Anything else? Jamie, I'm missing somebody. Okay.
No, I'm just keeping an eye on the raised hands.
Thank you. Okay, and so now I'm going to turn it over to our esteemed chair, Jamie Bernstein.
Thank you so much, Justice Lerman. And I'm actually going to let Milry go first to talk about Child Welfare Judges Conference, and then I'll share the rest of the updates on behalf of the commission.
Sure. Thanks, Jamie. Hi, everyone. Great to see you all. I wanted to give an update to you all about our annual conference. On October 21st through 23rd, we hosted our 17th annual Child Welfare Judges Conference in partnership with the Texas Center for the Judiciary. It went really well. We received a lot of positive and helpful feedback from the participating judges. We had 100 judges attend this 3-day conference from all across the state. And this year we were happy to welcome a larger number of general jurisdiction judges than we've ever had attend before, as well as some new to the bench judges or new to us judges. We had 13 presentations, including a national keynote speaker, as well as 12 concurrent regional breakouts where judges met with agency and SSCC staff to review their regional data with the goal of improving outcomes for children, youth, and families. We provided 14 hours of continuing judicial education, 9.25 hours of family violence credits, and 2.25 hours of ethics. And as always, our goal is to provide practical information to judges that they can use immediately on return to the bench. This year, our curriculum had several sessions which focused on issues that impact child welfare cases. For example, we had a panel on the importance of attracting and keeping high-quality attorneys on court appointment wheels, engaging fathers in child welfare cases, housing options for transition-aged youth and young adults, and child support matters for child welfare judges. We also had several presentations that focused on judicial well-being, including the keynote speaker. The keynote and a panel later in the program shared information on the science of compassion and the science of resiliency. And we also had a session dealing with death, grief, and loss on the bench, which was very impactful. Other sessions at the conference included an update from OCA, thank you, Megan, an update from the department on the new Texas Child-Centered Care System, known as T3C, and a panel with Commissioner Muth, Commissioner Sims, and Commissioner O'Neill that covered statewide updates on policy, practice, and data. Thank you all so much for participating. Also this year, for the first time, we had a panel of SSCC representatives speak about the community-based care model and its intersection with the courts. We were also honored to learn from lived experience speakers on a few of our panels, including the panel on housing and a panel on engaging youth. I want to thank Justice Huddle, who gave welcoming remarks and remarks honoring Chief Justice Darlene Byrne. And thanks also to Texas CASA, who had a lovely reception for us as always. This year at their reception, Texas CASA presented their Judicial Leadership Award to District Judge Lori Blake of Fannin County. And also in closing, I want to expressly thank the commission staff for everything they did to support the conference, especially Jamie and Andrea. I also want to thank Judge Atkinson and all of the Texas Center for the Judiciary staff and our speakers and judicial moderators. Thanks, and back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Milbreen. I'll start with a couple of updates that we spoke about at our September meeting that I wanted to share with you all. We talked about how we're going across the state doing training on Texas Family First and reasonable efforts. And in those jurisdictions where there isn't the Texas Family First pilot, we're primarily training on reasonable efforts. And we have embarked on a partnership with the Child Protection Law Section, thanks to the great leadership of Judge Bill Harris, who's with us here today, and Mark Briggs, who was the past chair. And we tried this for the first time in El Paso earlier this month. Hard to believe that was just this month. On daylight savings time, we went back to mountain time, so that was fun. But it was a raving success, and we were really pleased in Region 10. It's the best attended session that we've done yet statewide, and it was just a really great partnership with the Child Protection Law Section. I think it meets both of our aims of really engaging the legal stakeholders in those regions. And I think that it's been a great learning for us at the Children's Commission. Historically, we've really hosted things in a central location and offered for people to travel to us. But I think we've gotten a really warm reception and a lot of gratitude for us going out to the regions. And we've learned a lot about local practice. So I'm very grateful to the department for the funding to be able to do this and for the great partnership with CPL. So the next stop on the journey is Midland, which we'll be going to in December. So thank you, Judge Harris, and really looking forward to continuing that partnership. I'm also reminded by Judge Stuckey that we did discuss our Legislation and Policy Resource Committee recommendations at the last meeting. And you may recall there was quite a bit of discussion about the last recommendation related to the least restrictive environment for the child. And so we did pull back that recommendation before they were presented to the Judicial Council, and the other 7 were adopted by the Judicial Council. So we look forward to seeing how that progresses during the legislative session. I also want to mention the Child Protection Law Bench Book, which we update every year. I'm very pleased to say that the 2024 version is available. And in non-legislative years, we really spend our energy doing a lot of cleanup, kind of reorganizing, augmenting some of our chapters. And I would say that we really streamlined the checklist this year. So in the spiral of the bench book, we have our longer checklist with citations, and we decided to only laminate the ones that are the high level overviews of the statutory hearings. So that's one change that you might notice. And in our topical chapters, we really added some content to a lot of those. So it's just a little bit of change throughout. There aren't any dramatic changes to this year's bench book, but we feel like it's a new and improved version. And we distributed printed copies at Child Welfare Judges Conference to those in attendance. And we have it available as a downloadable PDF on the Children's Commission website for anyone to use. It's not limited to judges. And we also have engaged an app called Lawbox that's more interactive, that's more searchable, easier to use. It's best used on mobile devices. So if you have any questions about any of those, you can go to the Children's Commission website where you can download the PDF or find the Lawbox directions. And if you want a printed copy, if you're a judge handling a child welfare case, please email us and we'll be able to mail one to you. Lastly, I have some very good news. I know we were all devastated by Dylan's departure from the Children's Commission, and it's been a big loss that was acutely and immediately felt. And he's still a good friend to the commission, is already on 2 of our work groups, so he won't be a stranger to us. But I am absolutely thrilled that we have hired a new attorney, and it's not even her official start date yet. She's such a rock star that she's agreed to come on today to introduce herself to you all so that you know she's going to be here to support this work. And we are so lucky that I'm thrilled to announce Brenda Kinsler is our newest staff attorney, and she'll start in December. So Brenda, did you want to say a couple words and introduce yourself to the group?
Sure. I think I've had the honor of working with most of you, whether it's professionally as being in your court, as an attorney, or just working with you, with the commission. So I feel like I've been blessed because I already know most of you, and I already think that you are all fantastic and amazing people. I am humbled and just excited to be part of the Children's Commission team. I mean, I love all of the individuals that work for the Children's Commission, and you guys do too. You know how hard they work, and you know all of the wonderful things they do. And I just really hope and pray that I will be able to be a blessing to you all in this new role and in my new capacity. So I'm just really excited. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Brenda. We're so excited. You know, when Dylan turned in his resignation, you know, it was devastating for me and Jamie and Rebecca. But when we found out that you wanted it, we were like, yeah. So we're very, very excited that you're going to be with us. So thank you very much. And thanks for coming. I knew you'd do it though. Show up early, you know.
Justice Learman, can I say, you know, in Travis County here, I've got a lot of conflicted feelings because y'all's loss with Dylan was our gain, but now I'm losing Brenda to the commission. So it's all fair in child welfare law, right?
There you go. Yeah. Here, here. Thank you, Judge. Anyway, welcome aboard. It'll be fun. It'll be great. It's so good to have that bridge between the two, you know, us and the department. Well, thank you. Okay. So we have the time now to talk a little bit about our collaborative council members. They have been asked to provide written materials, and you can reference those on tab 4 of page 27. And all of those members have been given the opportunity to provide a verbal update today. And I think we'll start with Barbara Elias Percival. Barbara, are you here? Barbara?
I am here. Can you hear me?
There you go. Thank you.
Hi, everybody, and thank you, Justice Lehrman. I am the director of Texas Lawyers for Children, and those who may not know, our organization is a nonprofit that provides training and resources to judges and attorneys who are handling child protection cases through an online legal resource and communication center that we created. It has a full child abuse library that's all organized by topic and has communication tools and then also online training. And the focus of our training has, for several years now, has been on the impact of trauma on children in the child welfare system and how judges and attorneys can handle making sure that the child gets the healing and the resources they need to heal while in the system. And so I'm very excited to announce that on January 23rd, we have 2 new things coming. One is an Ask an Expert question and answer webinar with Ana Gomez, who is internationally acclaimed as a trainer on childhood trauma. And so you can, both judges and attorneys can bring questions to her about the mental and behavioral health needs of children. And we have consulted with the Judicial Ethics Commission to make sure it's okay for judges to ask her questions. And they have said that, you know, as long as the questions are general about the types of things that arise and not seeking specific consultation on a particular child, that it's fine for judges to also ask questions. So I hope you will plan on being there on January 23rd. It's from noon to 12:45. And then also as part of this webinar, we'll be launching, and I'll be showing you how to use it. We'll be launching a new communication tool in our online center where judges, there'll be 2 discussion boards where one is to be separately for judges, and no attorneys will be part of that, including myself. And then there will be one for attorneys. And in this discussion board, Ana Gomez's colleagues will be answering on an ongoing basis, will be answering questions you have about, again, the mental health needs of children and the impact of trauma on them, and what solutions or advocacy points are needed to help children get what they need. And so I'll be explaining how to use that tool on January 23rd at the end of this webinar. So I hope you'll plan to be there. And then there is one other thing I want to let you know, and that is that our 15-hour comprehensive trauma course, it's called Legal Professional Trauma Training Program, that is very, very comprehensive and touches on all kinds of issues about childhood trauma and how the courts, how judges and attorneys in particular can help with this issue, has received family violence CJE credit under the new statute. So that's a new additional approval that it has received. And I just highly encourage all judges to take this training, because if you haven't had extensive training on the impact of trauma on children, there may be issues in your cases that you're not recognizing. We all see the children and the youth who come in where it looks like just nothing is working for them, and that they are the hardest cases. And often this is due to the root cause of how trauma is impacting their life, and it's going unrecognized. So if you take this comprehensive course, you'll not only be able to recognize how a child might be impacted by trauma, but also gain the tools you need to help identify resources, the right types of resources the child needs, and to know how to work with others in your community to build those resources. Also, with T3C coming out soon, all placements need to be trauma informed. So it's very important in hearing these cases to know what that means and to ensure children are getting what they need and what the state intends for them to have while they're in the system regarding healing their trauma. So I hope that you will take advantage of these opportunities. And I know since we're ahead of schedule, I don't know if there's time, if there are judges who have had our training or anybody's training on trauma, and you have something to say to other judges about why it's important to get this kind of training. I'd love for you to speak up. And if there's no time for that, I understand. Or judges who aren't wanting to speak up, that's fine too, but I just give you the invitation.
Thank you, Barbara, so much. We would certainly appreciate that. Jamie, for some reason, I'm not able to see when hands are up, so please let me know. So is there anyone else from Collaborative Counsel who would like to make some comments?
I believe Amanda Vasquez from the Office of the Attorney General's Child Support Division wanted to say a few words as well.
Thank you. Amanda?
Good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be here for my first meeting. Thank you for selecting me to participate and represent the Child Support Division. I do have some updates that I'm excited to share, so thank you for letting me have the floor. Our team's preparing to participate in DFPS's FBSS conference in February. We're honored to have been invited. I contribute this to the commission as they made the connection between our programs so that we can talk about our shared priorities. And so we're planning to present on several topics that include an introduction to child support, access and visitation, paternity and child support mythbusters. So we're really excited for that. I am a passionate professional as it relates to meeting the needs of family violence survivors, and being responsive to the needs of family violence survivors is imperative to our work. And research indicates that 90% of domestic violence survivors want to pursue child support if they can do so safely. So during the month of October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we relaunched our Get Child Support Safely website. We partnered with the Texas Council on Family Violence and the Health and Human Services Commission to make updates to that website. We expanded on important topics as it relates to informing survivors of the risks and processes within the child support program. And we also added more resources to support them. So feel free to visit the site at getchildsupportsafely.org. And this summer, the division's non-custodial parent choices program achieved a monumental milestone. We surpassed $1 billion in collections through our employment program, Recognition also belongs to our partners at the Texas Workforce Commission, as the program design is collaborative in nature with local workforce boards. So by helping non-custodial parents secure stable employment opportunities, this innovative program ensures children receive consistent financial support that also supports parents achieving long-term economic stability. And then lastly, we modernized our legislatively mandated parenting and paternity awareness program. This is a program that is offered throughout the state in middle schools and high schools, and we're expanding that initiative to community-based programs. So we partnered with HHSC's now Family Support Services program, Roscoe's team, that oversees the Nurse Family Partnership, and we offered this video-based curriculum to their clients statewide. The topics that we had made available through this video series included communication, healthy relationships, parenting together, financial literacy, legal topics involving child support, paternity establishment and access and visitation, and the importance of fatherhood. We did have this evaluated. It was Vanderbilt University who conducted the evaluation. And one of the highlights was that fathers' knowledge in these areas increased, and that participants described the program videos as clear and informative. We had a lot more other great outcomes as a result of that evaluation. But those were just the few tidbits I wanted to bring to the group today. So thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. And I'm looking forward to that collaboration. It is important because there's so much overlapping concern. So thank you very much for that.
Justice Lerman, Dr. Blau did have his hand up.
Okay, Dr. Blau.
Wow, thank you all so very much. It's great to be with you again today. And I just had a few update announcements that I wanted to share as part of what I think is one of the great things about the commission, which is about resources. And as we're approaching the holidays, I wanted to let folks know that my colleague, Dr. Julie Kaplow, who runs the Trauma and Grief Center at the Hackett Center, is doing a series of articles for Psychology Today. And the recent one is on how to support grieving children during the holidays, and especially related to after a loved one dies or other extremely difficult, situations. And there's a very clear, I would say, step-by-step process almost, about how to address some of that and what to do. And I think given the nature of some of our kids and what's happening, that's a particularly good article. And what I'm sharing about right now, I'll make sure to send to Jamie, and so that if there's any interest, folks can get the links to follow up on these. Another thing I wanted to share is actually on a couple of personal levels. Number one is that that folks here at the Meadows, myself, John Petrilla, and Andy Keller, our president and CEO, were invited to produce and write the chapter 1 of a new book on redesigning the U.S. mental health care system. The book was being edited by Sydney Harris and Stephen Strakowski from Dell Medical School, and really brought together an array of experts. And we were able to we were invited to write chapter 1 specifically on what kinds of seismic shifts would be necessary to address some of the current challenges. And we really focused a lot on evidence-based practices, measurement-based care, integrated care, early detection, expanding the work around systems of care, and addressing some of the workforce issues that we have. And so I think that, again, we're hoping that just Oxford University Press just published that, and we can share a little bit more details. Actually, I'm still awaiting my copy of the book, so we'll one step at a time. The other thing is that my former agency at SAMHSA, I'm really excited to let folks know that they just announced. In fact, if you're on with me on LinkedIn, the SAMHSA, I shared this, that launched a behavioral health workforce career navigator. And I'm excited about this because it's really designed to help both current and aspiring behavioral health professionals identify sort of the state requirements and what's needed to to really become part of the behavioral health workforce and to develop and implement a career in behavioral health. And so I think that that's really a remarkable thing from SAMHSA. And so I'm still connected, although no longer working directly with SAMHSA. And then finally, I wanted to share that I've recently become a new board member for a group called the College of Behavioral Health Leadership. And this is a group that really does provide, it's a membership-oriented organization, but provides a lot of resources in the field of leadership, and particularly those around behavioral health. And so as folks are either interested in, participating, joining, or learning more or whatever, I'd be happy to be a resource related to that. Emerging leaders, youth leaders, family leaders, those are the kinds of things that, for me personally, I really enjoy, the mentoring processes and stuff. So if anybody has interest in that, I'm happy to be a resource for you. So appreciate the few minutes. Thanks again.
Thank you, Dr. Blau. We really appreciate your work. Thank you very, very much. Anything else? Anybody else?
I believe Barbara has her hand up.
Barbara.
I just forgot to mention that on page 29 of the commission notebook for today is a flyer about the webinar that I mentioned for January. So I just wanted to let you know about that. And Jamie has a copy if anybody needs it sent out. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, thank you all very, very much. That was all very, very interesting and informative and helpful. Is there any new business that anybody would like to bring up? Let me also ask you if you all have any ideas, again, for things that you think would be helpful for the commission to look at, to talk about at our next meeting, those kinds of things. We're always very anxious to hear from you because your boots on the ground, know what's going on, and we want you to bring those ideas to us. And we want to make sure that that we're addressing things that are meaningful, that we're not leaving things out that need to be covered, and that we're not covering things that are just, the same old, same old. We don't want to do either of those extremes. And so if you have any views on that either way, please let me or Jamie know, because we really want this commission to be the best it can be, and we want to make the very most of your very, very valuable time that you commit to this. So please let us know that. And so did I miss anyone with new business, Jamie? Nope. Okay, well, I want you all to have on your calendar our next meetings, and let me go over those real quickly for you. So we have an in-person meeting, yay, on February 7th. We'll have another virtual meeting. These are all 25, of course, on May 9th. We will have another in-person meeting on September 26th and another virtual meeting on November 14th. We don't yet know what the venues are going to be for those in-person meetings. We're always working hard to get both a place that's convenient for everybody, but that also makes sense financially. And sometimes those two things are a bit to juggle. So we try to do the best we can, but we'll let you know as soon as possible. And meantime, the holidays are upon us. So we're looking forward to a lot of good food and good company with family and friends, and just really enjoying this wonderful kind of cozy time of the year where we express our love for our friends and our family and each other. And I want you to know that on behalf of the court, we all wish every single one of you a very, very lovely holiday season, a happy time of the year. And we very much look forward to seeing you again at the next February, so we can have some camaraderie and friendship in person, which is always so much fun as we do this heavy lifting, important work for those vulnerable people in our state. And thank you all very, very much. So, Jamie, anything else?
No, thank you all.
Thank you so much. Have a good holiday. Bye-bye.